Welcome to Cooking with Bubbles. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Rodney. Let's get started.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Woo.
Nice.
Oh.
Look at that.
That was forceful.
Yeah. Love that sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Over the top?
I think it's my first time.
Okay.
I mean, it is my first time today, so.
Right. Putting a little bit of cranberry in there. Make it look all pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Looks good.
Cheers.
Wink.
Wink. Mm. Oh, my goodness.
Nice.
It's so good.
Love it, love it, love it.
Well, Lisa, here we are doing what we love doing, and that's cooking together while drinking Prosecco.
Yeah.
All you bubblers, feel free to pour your own glass of bubbles and enjoy the show. We're wearing our fancy Cooking with Bubbles aprons, and we'll tell you later in the show how you can get your very own.
That sounds really good. You know, I love that we get to spend time like this together. I'm in my kitchen, you're in yours. I don't have to clean up after you like we do sometimes when we get together. I still like that too, but this is just another fun way that we get to spend time together. And I love it.
Absolutely.
So,
Let's
bubbles.
add bubbles to that.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, Lisa, what are we making today?
So today we're going to make an all-time favorite, mac and cheese. I mean, who doesn't love mac and cheese? Plus, I had a block of some cheese left over from a recent episode of Cooking with Bubbles, and I thought this is a great way that I can use that before it starts to grow fur. You know, I thought that would just be great. So I started looking for some new recipes for some mac and cheese, and I can't wait to show what we're going to do today.
Awesome. I love mac and cheese, all of it, every single bit of it.
All of it.
Parts, the uncrispy parts. I love mac and cheese.
This is great. And this is a baked mac and cheese. And what's cool about it is that you pretty much use any of the kind of cheeses that you like, any of your favorite cheeses. Let me just tell you what's in this one. This is going to be good because this is what I had. So I've got some elbow noodles. And you've got something there a little different, right?
This is what I had. I didn't go out and buy something new. So I had some rotini, which are a little spicy, and I had to use a little bit of elbow noodles. But these are vegetable based, so they're not, you know, just pasta. They got vegetables in them too.
That looks really, really good. So with that, we're also going to add some unsalted butter and flour to create a little bit of a roux. So I've got a pound of the pasta, about a half a cup of unsalted butter, and a half a cup of all-purpose flour, so we can create this roux, which we've also already done. I've got a cup and a half of whole milk and 2.5 cups of half and half. And this recipe calls for 4 cups of like grated cheddar, which I've done today. I'm doing it in half. And it also calls for 2 cups of Gruyere, which is nice. And about 1 cup of, you know, medium onion chopped up pretty small. And I've pre-cooked it. So it's sauteed, clear, not browned, not overly cooked. Also calls for a half a tablespoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. So I've got all those ingredients out, ready to go and mix this thing together. And like I mentioned, to prep today, I've already got my pasta cooked, so it's ready to go. My cheese is already shredded. I've got my baking dish. It says to, you know, for a full recipe to use a 9x13 or a 3-quart baking dish. But again, I'm cutting mine in half, so it's a little bit smaller. And also, I've got it sprayed with some nonstick spray, so that'll be good. I've pre-melted my butter, mixed in my flour to create this kind of a thickening agent, a roux, in essence. So I'm going to turn my cooktop off. I've also got my oven preheated, 325. So when all this comes together, I can just pop it in the oven.
Yeah. And just a tip, when you're cooking pasta for a dish like this, it's really important that you season the water, and that in turn will season the pasta as it cooks. So that way you're not just, you know, boiling pasta, you're actually seasoning it while you're cooking it. And you also want to make sure for mac and cheese dish that your pasta is al dente because it is going to get baked. And so the pasta will cook a little bit more in the oven. And the other thing that I did after I cooked it is I just drizzled a little bit of olive oil over the pasta and put it in a zip top bag for overnight storage. And that way it doesn't stick together and the pasta is has a nice little layer of oil on it.
And that is a great tip. You know what that means? I'll drink bubbles to that. That's really a good idea. Now it's fun to make recipes that you can like do in advance, kind of like what we're doing today. This one could be made, up to 2 days in advance to just set to the side until you're ready to do it. So, but to get started, I'm going to go ahead and combine my 2 cheeses. I've got my shredded cheddar and I've got my Gruyere. So I'm just going to blend those together and get those ready because they're going to be melted into the butter and flour mixture here. So I'm going to get that going, get that put in. My butter and flour looks really, really good. It's got kind of a thickening texture to it. Like I think the recipe says it should look like sand. So I've got that going. And to this mixture, I'm going to start adding my milks. So I'm going to add my whole milk first. I'm going to slowly just add that in. Make sure I pour some of it onto the cooktop while I go.
I've already got my cooktop put in the RV for the summer, so I'm having to use my actual stove behind me.
That's okay. That's good. And this whisk together, you just want to make sure that you get all that flour part really, broken in, mixed in well. You don't want clumps.
All right.
And now that my milk is in there, I'm going to slowly add in my half and half.
Awesome. So we're going to get this whisked together and then we'll come back and we'll show what's next.
Sounds good.
Welcome back. All right. So we've got a nice thickened mixture here. We were just kind of joking like wallpaper paste. And add in our spices, which is our salt, our pepper, and our paprika. And I think the recipe calls for paprika. So put that in there and then put in the onions. We're just going to stir it up.
The original recipe didn't call for onions, the one that I found, but that's how I like my mac and cheese. So I think it's good. I think you can put whatever you want in it.
I love your recipe that shall remain secret.
My secret mac and cheese.
But this one looks really good. So we have to.
So we're going to let this whole thing kind of come together, mix all of our ingredients to the last of that. And then what we'll do is we'll remove this from the heat. So I'm going to turn my cooktop off and remove this from the heat. And then we're going to start adding in our cheese, just a little bit at a time. We don't want to clump it all in because we don't want it to not melt. So let me just transfer this over here. Move this guy to the side. That way you can see what's going on here. Sure smells good.
Yes, it does.
I'm just going to grab a handful and just start throwing it in, mixing it in. Give it a chance to get going. So why don't we do this? Why don't we get all of our cheese mixed in a little bit and come back and show you what this looks like as the next step.
That sounds good. Welcome back. Well, we have our cheese all melted into the sauce, and now we're ready to put it in the pasta. It's the last step before we put it into our baking dish and bake it. So we're going to pour this in and just kind of.
Oh my goodness.
Hey.
Comes out clean.
Yes, it does.
And I'm just mix that together, mix my cheese and my pasta together. Maybe it is paste.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much what it's got to do once we bake it is hold it all together.
Yeah. Looks good. So it's already mixed together. And I think from here, all we're going to do is we're going to place it into our baking dish whenever you get it mixed up sufficiently.
Yeah, I have a whole batch, so mine's
Looks good. Yeah, you do. You've got a larger pile to mix up. I think I'm going to go ahead and just put mine in. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I think so too, because once I put it in the pasta, it started to harden more because the pasta's cold.
Yeah.
Great.
So from here, I'm just going to drop this into the baking dish.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's going to be so tasty.
I'm going to be eating these for leftovers all week. Love it.
That's not a bad thing. And smooth it out. And then once we get this features all laid out, Rodney, yours looks good.
Yeah. So much cheese.
It's good. Mac and cheese is good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and once to get this already in, we'll pop this in the oven. It says about 25, 30 minutes, but we'll check on it in 20 just to make sure that it's not bubbling over, but we want it to look beautiful and light golden brown.
Yeah, and crispy, crunchy, yummy.
Yeah. Welcome back. Oh my goodness, this mac and cheese looks incredible. Let me just show you how it turned out. It looks really, really good. Nice and gooey and cheesy, and we browned it with a little bit of broiler action on top. Can't wait to give this a taste.
And the recipe for I forget what it said, 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
In reality, we had to add more time because it was not browning. So, just a tip: put additional time on your oven to your cheese to the desired level of golden brownness. Because for me, that's what makes mac and cheese awesome: is the brown crispies on the top and around the edges.
Yeah, and I'm going to drink bubbles to that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's give this a taste. It smells amazing, looks amazing. We did put it in a plate so that we could let it cool off a little bit, not to scorch.
Nice.
So let's see how this tastes.
Oh that's good. Really, really good.
The onion is a really nice touch too.
Yeah, I love the Gruyere in there. It gives it a nice little sharpness. It's just absolutely delicious. It's nice and creamy. It's really good.
Well, we've done it again, Lisa. Another success.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'd like to thank our virtual audience for joining today. Thank you all so much for watching Cooking with Bubbles. We also want to thank our sponsor, Cork Tray, who makes these wonderful cork and wood things that we use underneath our hot pans on our counters. So thank you so much for providing those for us. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at cookingwithbubbles.com and become a bubbler. Then click the bell after you click the subscribe button, and that way you'll get alerts as we post new episodes. Also remember to like us on Facebook. Facebook is where we post all of our recipes and the pictures that we take along the way. And you can find us there on facebook.com/cookingwithbubbles.
That sounds really good. We also mentioned earlier that we would tell you how to get your own Cooking with Bubbles apron. All you have to do is send us an email. We'll tell you all about the details for that. But they come in black, white, red, or blue. And if you have any recipes that you've made that we've also featured on Cooking with Bubbles, we'd love to see your pictures. Or if you have suggestions on things you'd like to see us make, send those to us by email as well. Love to hear from you. Our email address is cookingwithbubbles@yahoo.com. Well, that takes care of it for today. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Rodney. See you next time, Bubblers.
Bye.